Moving to Los Angeles is a big life-changing decision that people from all over the world make in hopes to better their lives, looking for more opportunity as well as thriving in the constant sun and warmth. Just because you move to LA doesn't mean things are going to be perfect and your life will change for the better. It's not easy for many people because of the culture, the people out here, the size, but let's go over some reasons why you should avoid moving here. What's going on, guys? This is going to be a pretty raw talk about 5 reasons why you should not move to Los Angeles in 2023, and that's also coming from a native Angelino. I was born and raised out here, and I'm a local real estate agent in the greater LA area. My team and I help people every day buy, sell, and invest in property here in LA, but I'm going to tell you why you should not move here because we are seeing people selling their homes, getting out of state, going out of country as well, as there is a shift coming here in the market. But we're just going to start off, and I'm going to give you a few reasons why you should avoid this place in general. And the first one is going to be because of people that think they have status. You know, there's a lot of people in LA, over 20 million people, and if you come here, you might think that there is more opportunity, and yes, there is, but that's what other people are thinking as well. So a lot of people will come here just to take from others. They aren't giving as much as they want to receive, which is why a lot of people come here maybe just for the wrong purposes. They'll come here to just get some clout. They'll come here just to try to make some quick money. When you're going out to different events, different places, there will be a lot of people that will just be in it for themselves and ask what you do before trying to get to know you as a person. They will seem a bit disingenuous, as you might hear on the news. The stigma of LA is that a lot of people are just in it for themselves, that just want this money, this power, this fame. And I mean, that is true in a lot of cases, especially if you're living in the West Hollywood, Beverly Hills, Hollywood areas. You will see many people just trying to get their own bag. A lot of people out here are just looking for status, just to climb the ladder of success. You know, wherever you go, it really does help in LA to be someone that knows people at certain events. If they know you, that's definitely better. It'll help you get into places, which is why a lot of people are trying to network out here. There's this stigma that there are a lot of influencers. Obviously, there are, and you don't have to associate yourself in that specific industry because, like I said, LA is so wide, it's so vast. You don't have to just be this influencer type in the Hollywood space per se, but really everyone is just trying to be a better version of themselves. There are a lot of narcissists out here too. I mean, there are a lot of good-looking people. The more you drive around LA, you will see that there are just extremely attractive people everywhere. I mean, just overall on the west side, in the center of the city, you can go to downtown even. But aside from everyone just wanting more status, more money, more power, also, number 2, the cost of living is very high in Los Angeles. It's going to cost you maybe around $3,000 for a pretty nice one-bedroom to rent out. And when it comes to buying a house, I mean, don't even get me started. I'm going on showings with clients every day as a real estate agent. They're trying to see something in the low 1 millions in the heart of the city or on the west side. And I mean, that's almost impossible to find a great deal these days, even with what the market is doing right now. You can go out to the outskirts of the valley and maybe get something around the $1 million range. But if you're trying to live in the center of Los Angeles, if you're trying to be around the action, the people, you're going to have to go probably over $2-3 million even, which is extremely high. You can get an absolute mansion in parts of Texas, in parts of Wyoming. I'm going to keep mentioning Wyoming and compare LA to certain parts of Wyoming, but cost of living is very high out here, and that's because we have good weather all year round, even though the last 3 weeks have been extremely rainy out here early in the 2023 year. Housing is expensive. Utilities will also be expensive. Food. I mean, food is probably going to be the highest of costs aside from rent. I just bought a $20 Cobb salad the other day. I mean, how are salads even $20? Don't you just chop up lettuce, throw some vegetables in there, and then you got should be $5 for a salad. But also, LA is the burger capital of LA, and I've had burgers that were close to $30 for a burger and fries, which is insane. So just factor that in when you're going to be moving here of what the costs would be when you're just going to be eating food, eating out. But if you don't want to be spending that much, then just I would recommend to avoid this city in general. Another reason why you should not move here is, obviously, I had to throw this one in. I didn't want to because everyone talks about it, but that's going to be the traffic. Now, no matter where you're going to be commuting to, you're going to be running into some traffic, even if you're going to be commuting 2 miles away from the city. You're going to run into some type of traffic Monday through Saturday. Sundays are probably the only day where you're not going to be experiencing an insane amount of traffic. You still will have some traffic, but it's not going to be as crazy as it would be, let's say, mid-Wednesday in the late afternoon. But still, you got to factor in traffic throughout your days. LA is so wide. You can have friends that are living in LA as well that live in potentially, let's say, Pasadena, but you're in Woodland Hills. I mean, that is still technically LA, but that's going to be an hour, 2 hours of your day. 1 hour going there, 1 hour going back. So if you're going to meet up for lunch with someone, one of your friends living in LA in a different area, you just got to plan for that being a majority of your day is going to be sitting in traffic, sitting on the freeway in your cars. And you're going to need a car if you're in LA. So if you're not a car person, if you don't like sitting in traffic, if you don't like listening to podcasts, listening to music in the car, which I know some people do. Some people don't mind the whole traffic thing in LA. I mean, I'm used to it. I don't even really consider traffic a thing anymore. I just know that you have to factor in at least another 15, 20 minutes just in case you're going to be running into something going on the freeway or on the streets. But if you can't handle all of that, then I'll just say avoid it at all costs and go over to, I don't know, let's say Wyoming again. Another reason to avoid LA, I kind of touched on this a bit, but that is the influencers coming out here. There's been a big influx of people, the TikTokers, the young YouTube stars that just moved to LA. I mean, I guess this has been a thing for decades, but it just was actors in the past. But now we have TikTokers, influencers that are moving to Los Angeles to pursue their dreams. And I guess the main reason would be for potential collaborations with other creators, because that's an easy way for them to grow their following, which then eventually leads to sponsorships, brand deals. And all of those people will come and, make a mockery of the city. And a lot of those people that you hear talk bad about LA are also not from LA. So let me do the talking bad about it for you guys. A lot of people in LA are just entrepreneurs. They don't have necessarily jobs, which is one of the reasons why there's so much opportunity out here. You can always be selling something to someone anywhere in any part of LA. If you have a specific passion, you can pursue that. And that is because LA is pretty much its own country in itself. It is so big. It is bigger. It has a bigger population than several states. But if you're not one to go outside and see people filming TikToks and that's just gonna be cringy to you, then probably avoid LA, because those people are just trying to make a living. Even though it may be cringy, this is still the entertainment capital of the world. There are always going to be people making content, and content is king in 2023 and beyond. So, I mean, there's going to be a lot of that going on out here. And LA is not so much like New York, to where New York, I feel like people are just doing their own thing. You're not as judgy of others, or at least the people on the streets don't seem to be that way. But in LA, if you're going to be filming in public, or if someone's going to be doing something a bit sketchy on the streets, it will seem a lot more people surrounding them are going to be judging them for what they do. But don't get caught up in all that. In a few minutes, they're not even going to realize, they're not even going to think about you or that other person. It's just something else that goes on in the day, just like all the other hectic things that go on in this city. Another reason to avoid Los Angeles is because of the homelessness. Now, since 2020, there has been a lot more homelessness popping up here and there throughout the city, throughout the west side. There will just be streets lined with some tents, and it's tough to avoid in a lot of areas. So if you don't want to be seeing that, then I would say go somewhere else, even though throughout in the entirety of SoCal, there will be a lot of homelessness everywhere. I know a lot of people that are moving down to Orange County, Newport Beach area, because there is less homelessness going on out there. But still, in LA, you can have a very nice pocket, a nice street, a good residential neighborhood that doesn't have any homelessness, doesn't have any problems. It seems like it's super glamorous, but then you can walk a few blocks down and there will be a giant homeless encampment going on. So it really depends on the specific area you go and you move to LA. So that's why it's extremely difficult if you have no idea about anything in Los Angeles and then you're coming from, let's say, Wyoming again. You want to move to LA and you don't know where to live. How are you going to decide what's a good area or not when every street is vastly different? I mean, that's why you got me, guys. I'm a local real estate agent. I know every street like the back of my hand, honestly. Give me a cross section. I'll tell you where that is. I'll tell you if that is a good intersection, a good area to live, because I'm just roaming around these streets all day. With that being said, make sure you do your research as well and don't just listen to one person's opinion, one person's perception on an area, on LA. They saw one homeless guy doing some something disgusting on the side of the street, let's say, and then their whole perception of LA completely changed. They said there's homeless everywhere because they saw one homeless guy, or Karen told them about a homeless man. But you will be seeing it on occasion, even in some of the nicer areas, even in, let's say, Venice. There are a lot of young people living and moving to Venice, even though there are some streets in Venice that are just horribly homeless ridden. But Venice is still where all the young people are hanging out on the weekends. There are still good parts of the west side, of course, but just make sure you talk to people, you do your research. And that also goes with me saying that everyone's perception of LA is vastly different. I mean, people that have lived in, let's say, Hawthorne, which is in the south central side of LA, or Southgate, anywhere down there will have an entirely different perception of their hometown of LA than someone maybe from San Bernardino even, or let's say Artesia, which is LA County, out on the Inland Empire area, the outskirts, the east side of LA. It's very different. The schools are different. The community is different. The people are different. And then you have people living in West Hollywood that will just see LA for what you see in the movies, basically, living in West Hollywood or living in Hollywood, Beverly Hills. Now that's a completely different lifestyle, completely different country, you could even say, than all these other little cities. And then you have the suburbs up in the valley, which is where I grew up. And that's just, when I was growing up in the valley, I didn't even really know anything about the city, about the west side and like Santa Monica, Venice area. But growing up in the valley, that's just what it is. It feels like you're in your own little hometown. I'm sure it's the same exact thing if you're growing up in a little city in Wyoming. You don't even know anything else about the bigger cities. You just see your friends. You see your middle school, elementary school friends or whatnot when you're growing up, and then that's just home to you. So I mean, everyone's had a different perception on LA depending on where you live. And also, I know a lot of people that aren't from here, but they'll listen to a podcast. They'll hear some influencers maybe talk about how LA is going down the drain, how LA is just really terrible right now. But these people that are saying this don't even live here, or they live in Miami or something. How can you just say that? You tell your audience, and then you'll have one person hear that, they'll tell their audience, and then it just snowballs from a bunch of people that don't even live in LA, that aren't even from here, which is crazy. But I mean, if you actually experience it for yourself, give it a couple months, decide if this is for you, because this city is not for everyone. There is a lot going on, but also there is not a lot going on. It's not like New York where it's super fast-paced. Everyone is super businessy. They're in their suits. They're walking to work. They're going so fast. LA, it does have a slower vibe if you're living over in, let's say, closer to the beach maybe. A lot of people are just there to hang out, and there are a lot of entrepreneurs, maybe that they don't even feel like they need to be working that hard, such as maybe some trust fund kids too that already have money in the bank. They just want to chill. They just want to hang out, which there are a lot of people like that too. So you just need to surround yourself with the right people if you do decide to make LA home, because that has a big impact on your environment. The people you surround yourself with will influence your mind. It will influence the decisions you make, your discipline, your motivation in your day-to-day life. And if you actually need to get things done, just make sure you set a plan, set a schedule. Don't get involved in the whole LA lifestyle, which I know people can get involved in and then go down a very deep, dark path, which is not good at all. But like I said, 20 million people, not everyone is the same. A lot of people are different. If you can handle it, that's great. If you can't, then avoid LA in 2023, because this is going to be a city that is on the rise. Like may have had some down years the last couple of years, but LA really is back. If you go anywhere, it is packed. People are moving back to LA because of the opportunity, because of the ambition. It's still the same LA it was 5 years ago. In my opinion, I live in the heart of the city. But if you have any questions, guys, reach out to me down in the description below. If LA is not for you, then avoid it. Get out of here. Don't move to LA and then just talk bad about it if you're not from here, because I hate that as a local native Angelino. I mean, I just don't like people talking bad about this city if they're not from here, if they've barely experienced it. You need to experience it over the years and get an overall knowledge of everything that this city is, from the good, the bad, the ugly, the grit, the glamorous, just everything there is to be in Angelino. But if you like this video at all, if you gained any knowledge from this video, hit the like button, subscribe for more videos about all things Los Angeles and more house. I'm going to be showing you some affordable houses in this area if you guys are looking to move out here or not move out here. If this video convinced you to not move out here too, that was great. That means it did something right. But thank you guys so much for watching. See you guys in the next video. Peace.